no matter what you like, just do it fully, and do it as beautiful as possible, because when you live your life in a beautiful way, it inspires others to do the same.
Оливие Несмон нарича себе си психонавт. Той е пътешественик, изследовател и треньор в областта на здравето, добруването и самопознанието.
How does that make you feel inside? Okay? How does that talk to you? Can you take just 10 seconds breathing through your pain? We all have the duty, like an obligation, to make our life a masterpiece.
Оливие е практик, посветен в японското изкуство за добър живот. Ученик в продължение на 11 години на професор Имото, майстор по сейтай и доктор по медицина. Днес Оливие си служи с това познание, за да обогати западните ученици и да им покаже как да дадат нов смисъл на живота си и да изградят отново своето здраве. От 2012 година посещава България, за да провежда своите срещи и да ни учи как да изследваме връзката между състоянието на духа, тялото и поведението ни. Представяме ви Оливие Несмон.
Hello, Magda.
Our body is a perfect system. It's like a perfect computer, and it has his own way to talk to us. Why is it important to listen to this voice?
Oh, because simply life talking to you. Simple as that. You know, I'm not so much immersed in mysticism, okay, but I do believe, because it's my experience, that life addresses us, and when we're not listening, life has to address us in a way that we hear, that we something's talking to us. And usually what it does, the way life uses, is it hurts you. Okay, in the morning, if you have to go for an appointment, very important for you, but you have to wake up early and you're tired, you use your time clock, okay, your morning clock. But if it doesn't work, okay, the clock, the ring rises and rises until it's unbearable, and then you wake up. Okay? If you're sleeping and I say, Magdalena, wake up, will you wake up? Probably not. Okay? But if I really have to wake you up because the house is on fire, I have to shake you, even I have to maybe slap you. I wouldn't go to that extreme, but life sends signals which are stronger and stronger in regard of how sensible you are or not. Okay? If you're sensible, you wake up and the signal stops. Okay? But if you're dumb, if you're dull, if your body is dormant, if your senses are sleeping, if your mind is dissipated so that you cannot even feel yourself, then through the body, life is going to you by hurting you. And people, when they're sick, they complain that their body is painful. But what are they doing in their life that makes their body painful? Meaning, how are they responsible for what is happening of not listening to life, for example? Okay? When your skin is scratching, you just do that and you forget about it. But when your stomach is hurting, then you cannot scratch and forget about it. You have to pay attention. What's happening? What's the message behind that? What's the disorder in me that I need to rebalance? Okay? But I say again, the intention is not to make a cult out of it, but to live naturally with that body of yours, and be aware that your body is the tangible material that we all have, okay, to be aware that we are alive and to be able to act in life.
What is the easiest way to put this system in balance?
There are many ways. I don't know if there is one easier way, and I have my way among so many that are very respectful as well. At least I think like that. But my system that I use, I got it from Japan, from that school there in Japan, the Institute, that the simplest way that they teach to us are exercises meant to bring your body back to its original condition. Okay? When life was invented, I don't know if it was invented, but when life appeared on this planet, it came through a program that developed, okay, and then human beings appeared, and we live according to a program where we're supposed to be well, where we're supposed to be open, where we're supposed to be productive and active, because we're also life bearers and we act and interact with life. So those exercises are meant to bring the body back to its original condition, which is what nature had planned in the beginning. Okay? So there's nothing miraculous, there's nothing special about those exercises, but the fact that they tend to rebuild the situation through which the body feels well.
And you're using physical movements and
Yes.
breathing?
Yes. We use the word taisel, which means gymnastic, which I prefer to translate as a body adjustment, or body adjustment, yes. Realigning the body. But I don't like all those words because they come with concepts that people have preconceived and they're not listening. They follow the concept, but they're not aware of how life needs to process inside. So those exercises bring the body, rebuild the body in a way that it comes back to how nature had dreamed about an ideal life, an ideal body to be healthy. Okay? And when we do those exercises, no matter how old you are, no matter how flexible you are, when you do those exercises, you cannot miss how distorted you can have transformed yourself through life, how distorted your body can become, okay? And because we live in a life which is full of stress, which is full of overeating, of plenty of things that divert our attention from what's essential, we forget the logical order, we forget the plan of nature in us. So when we do these exercises, we discover how distorted we are. We can discover how exhausted the body can be, and we become aware of it, and it surprises us all the time, constantly. There's no one person who does the exercise and goes, perfect. No, it's not true. It's, oh wow, I didn't know. I thought I was flexible, but I didn't know how unflexible I was. Okay? To rediscover, that teaches us where we are in life, where we've been so far, and what we need to do to come back to the origin.
And what about all those thoughts that are in our mind? I mean, for example, me personally, I'm thinking too much and I'm so tired of this. How can I stop this?
A healthy body has his life force in the belly. And we know from Japanese tradition, for example, this tradition of giving death to yourself, you know, like the samurai used to have, cutting the abdomen through. Yes, it's called seppuku, which means to cut the belly. And the reason why they did that, because in the Japanese culture, in the Japanese tradition, it is assumed that life force is really in your guts. Okay, and when you look at a baby, I jump from theme to theme, but it connects. When you look at a baby sleeping on his back, look at the baby sleeping. Look at his belly. He breathes with the belly. Okay, he doesn't breathe like an adult who has been trained to breathe upward. He lives and breathes from the belly, and it's beautiful to see because the baby seems so relaxed, so well. Okay, and in the Japanese culture, what I've learned is that life force is really down low in your belly. When a woman is pregnant, she doesn't bear life here; she bears life in her belly. So there's meaning in having your life force in your belly. If you have no power in your belly, you cannot live comfortably in life, and when sickness or disease appear, what happens? You don't have the power to come back to the plan that nature had for you. Okay? And the extreme situation in that is people who are having burnout.
Yeah.
Okay?
Many people.
With burnout people, they have no vitality in their lower abdomen. They're extremely tensed and hard in their rib cage, tense and high on the level up, but in the lower, most important, essential parts of the body, like the lower abdomen, there is nothing.
And
So it's and the breathing is here, right? Yeah. So they breathe like that. But when you breathe like that, like we exaggerate, of course. Okay. But when you breathe like that, you feel it burns energy. Your head goes spinning very quickly. Okay. So it's a way of living. To live in a way that preserves the vitality in your lower abdomen in such a way that you can, this energy is available for you to realize yourself, to achieve yourself, to go all the way through a project and finish it.
What about the emotional problems that we have? You have so many patients, and for sure, not all of them are coming for the pain in their body.
No, pain comes from perception. Unless you hit your hand with a hammer, of course. Okay, but most pains and diseases, I cannot say 100% because there are obviously exceptions, but in my experience, many of the troubles that we have in life, be it emotions, being pathologies, okay, come from how you perceive a specific situation in your life. And when you misunderstand, or when you mistranslate the meaning of an event in your life through your perception, then you have misperception, you have misunderstanding, and that misunderstanding creates disorder, and from what you believe you have emotion, okay? And the emotion, many people focus on the emotion, like I have bad emotions or what. I think such thing only exists because we translate them as bad, but they're only messages coming from the inside, okay, to tell you, on that path you're doing wrong, on that path you're not going the right way aligned with life. So it's just telling you something, it's a message, okay, that if you pull back a little bit and just observe what you're doing, what is happening, it is very easy to observe, to realize that I just misunderstand the meaning of the situation and I translate it in a way that I drop in the area of either I'm a victim or poor me, or I just completely mistranslate the meaning of it, and it turns into a pain because in that situation I'm uncomfortable. What's good for me is not necessarily what's good for you. Okay? So I would say leave people free to choose their own path and to explore their own needs, to explore what they cannot do, what they enjoy or do not enjoy doing, until they find something that really makes them feel like, wow, I think this should be taught at school. Okay? Instead of choosing a program that must be implanted in the child's brain, I would rather suggest to offer a large panel of possibilities and allow the child to choose what he likes according to his own affinity, and then develop on that. And through time we do change, okay? Needs change, values change, what we believe changes also, okay? So what's good for me today, I may enjoy it for the next 10 years, and then I feel a different need, okay? Because I need to evolve, I need to expand, okay? When my need is satisfied, what do? I do something else. We all have the duty, like an obligation, to make our life a masterpiece. We have to make a masterpiece out of our lives, and I believe that. So no matter what it is, whether you like, no matter what you like, just do it fully, and do it as beautiful as possible, because when you live your life in a beautiful way, it inspires others to do the same.
What about all those seminars and retreats and personal development things that are so popular now? For sure people need them, considering that they are so fashionable.
I don't like fashionable. Anything that's fashion really doesn't interest me. And I'm not so much interested in personal development. But I had traveled in personal development for some time because I was looking for myself. I was looking for meaning in my life. Okay? I even went to university to achieve it, to accomplish. I would invite people to, yes, you can go to the personal development because there's utility in it, but go beyond that. Go beyond that, meaning use that to really transform yourself, to become that person that you really are inside, without limiting yourself to, oh, now that I know that I am this and that. It's not true. It's not. We always have something to learn. We always have something to uncover about ourselves. So personally, I'm more keen on personal reflection, to reflect on yourself so that you can re-examine your path, you can re-examine your life and expand your knowing, your consciousness about yourself. That's what I personally prefer, because the intention behind that is to, as you uncover yourself, you find the venues, you find the possibilities, you also find the inspiration to become more of what you are, rather than just having more of what you want.
And to become more brave?
Maybe. It needs to be brave to overcome your limitations. It takes to be brave to change your life and take the responsibility to transform it in a way that your life becomes actually a masterpiece. It does take courage, it does take energy and decision. It's not always easy. So go your path, Find what you like, and through that, find the limitations of your comfort zone. And if you're inspired, just open the door and try to make one step out of it. Just that. And when you make one step, then you can make a second one. And when you make a second one, you can make a third one. And the more you go like that, the more it is possible to discover that life is so huge, so large, so immense, that there's always a place for you.
You've met so many people all over the world. Are the problems the same everywhere?
My way of seeing it is no matter what your problem, no matter what God you pray, no matter what political party you vote for, in the end we're all made according to the same principle. We have 33 vertebrae, we have 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, okay, and we need to breathe, and we have blood. We all organize according to the same principle, okay, no matter what you believe. So if for a moment we could just drop our concerns, our concepts, our ideology, and just grant ourselves time to reconnect with what we sense as life inside, and let that speak to us, but not in a philosophical way or mystical way, just as a practical thing. When you go walking, can you feel your heart? When you're sitting on a chair and watching TV or reading your newspaper, can you feel your hip? Okay? If you feel your hip, how do you feel your hip? How does that make you feel to feel your own hip? How does that make you feel to observe yourself breathing? Don't breathe because it brings you nirvana. This is stupid, to my opinion. Okay, it's just conditioning people into one path, and I don't like that. But if you take time to feel yourself breathing, if you take time to feel yourself perspiring when you're under the sun or when you're walking, if you take time to feel the pain that's in your back, how does that hurt you, okay? Is it a twist? Is it crispation? Is it like you stab like a knife? What is the pain? How does that make you feel inside? Okay? How does that talk to you? Can you take just 10 seconds breathing through your pain and acknowledging that that pain is you suffering? Is not something that is attacking you. Okay? That pain is you suffering. So in which aspect of your life you leave that situation that you feel stabbed, or that you feel twisted so much that you're exhausted? Okay, in which aspect of your life do you leave that? How does that make you feel? And when you find that aspect of your life, can you recognize the conflict that's hidden behind that? Can you take the conflict and embrace it, to recognize that what hurts you in reality is that through that conflict you have lost the path of love? And I believe firmly, I really believe it. It's love that heals us. Okay, it's nothing else. And that is what is hurting. It's not because my dad slapped me. It's because I find it unfair that he talked to me like that, because I had my own right to think or to feel what I wanted. But I don't know how to say it because I feel his authority. And as long as I am there, I cannot speak to him and be myself. Yeah, so I feel it here, yes. When you realize that, even if it's 20 years later, when you realize that actually your dad, your mom had an intention, a positive intention, and they had a worldview at that time, okay, when we realize that, and this is what I do in my job, when we realize that in reality there was love in the situation, but it was not expressed in a way that was easy to understand because it was against his intention. Even 20 years ago, when we understand that, we can heal by retrieving what love was doing in that situation that I didn't see. And when I see it again, I realized, wow, actually I suffered because of misinterpretation of the situation. If we could just train to open ourselves to that possibility, I'm pretty sure life would become easier for everyone.
So it's not so hard, it's just observation.
Oh, it's not hard if you're well guided, if you're well accompanied for the process, because if you don't know, you don't know. Okay, so we need to learn, we need to work with someone who's competent to help you do that, but it is doable. It is doable, even for heavy traumas, even for heavy difficulties. It is doable. The question to ask yourself is, are you ready to do the job? Are you ready to do the work, to go through? Because we all will go through unpleasant moments, like a child who's been abandoned. Okay, and he's an adult, and he's facing difficulties in his life. He's not aware that those difficulties are only the reflection of his perception when he was little, and he has been abandoned. Okay? Sometimes it's completely out of your consciousness. So you need to know how to explore your past, to retrieve, to reconquer other aspects that you didn't see, and to activate them in your life. This is a past, it's a process, but it can be learned.
Thank you, Olivier. You have a gift. Thank you, you're an amazing person.
Thank you. Thank you for taking me.